I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Haley Campbell-Gross. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It's a great pleasure to connect with you, Haley. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Oh, sweet. Which means it's early evening there still, right?
Yep, it is early evening, around 5:30-ish.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Podcasting, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you guessed correct. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, tell us about your podcast, please.
Yeah, I'd love to. I co-host a podcast with Angie Cross, and we talk about complexity science and systems thinking, and we cover a broad range of topics in that arena. So we just explore how complexity science is used in work and in life, and we talk to professionals and educators and all kinds of different people who are applying it in their jobs or in their personal lives.
So explain it just a bit deeper for us who do not understand complexity thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I should also mention the name of the podcast. The podcast is called The HumanCurrent. And so complexity science is really important to us and to our mentor who funds the project for us, which we couldn't do any of it without his help. His name is Douglas Drain. And so complexity science is really important to him. He truly believes it can change the world. And it's really a science that is used to explore systems, complex systems, which exist all around us in all different forms. If you think about economies and the weather, biosphere, and human systems, cultures, company cultures, and cultures within different nations, all of these are complex systems. They exist in all around us, and really you look at relationships and you look at connections and how the parts interact, and this whole emerges, and we call that a culture, or we call that a specific thing. And so you can't really study them by breaking them down and looking at the parts. You can't look at the interaction between two people and understand what's going on in an entire culture. So it's really a kind of a newish science. It's more in the academic fields at this time, but it's becoming more widely used and talked about, and it's exciting for us because we're trying to spread the word about it as well.
It sounds like fun. Now, the artwork on your podcast, is it the infinity and the head? Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, so I came to the podcast. I started a little bit after the marketing of the podcast. So that logo, I believe, the infinity sign is, I think the human current really means the interconnection of everyone and everything. Really not seeing boundaries, because everything is ultimately interconnected, and we learn that more and more, the more people we talk to about complex systems. So I think the infinity sign really brings that home and represents what we're talking about as far as interconnections, because they're so important in complexity science.
Sounds like fun. So you all are seeing connections that other people weren't seeing before, right? And especially in the interaction that individuals are having. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, interactions and relationships are kind of hard to study. They're very nuanced and dynamic, and so it's definitely challenging, and communicating it is challenging. But there's a lot of terms that we use, like emergence. Well, the whole emerges from the parts, and kind of becomes this whole other thing. And so it's exciting to learn about. I'm learning as I go as well. But yeah, relationships are a huge part of what we talk about.
Well, Haley, please do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Learn, I would say. Constantly learning. My background is in marketing. I have a marketing degree, and marketing is one of those things that constantly changes, although so much is changing in our world every day, including technology, and technology influences marketing so much that I have to learn something new every day to stay on top of changes in my field. So I read a lot of forums and articles online, and I took a class through General Assembly. They offer just their private education, and they had a business professional in the field teaching a course on digital marketing, and I did that about 2 years ago. So yeah, I would say I've been constantly learning and also unlearning over the past 3 years, unlearning things that I thought were true that I found out are not relevant anymore.
How does that make you feel?
It's exciting to me. I like change. I like learning, and I think unlearning is actually a lot harder than learning itself. Letting go of what you thought was true or relevant, that's more painful, I think.
Yeah. I felt the pain when you said it in that pause right there. Suggest to someone out there that's listening why they should even consider doing what you've done by applying learning to your life as well as unlearning.
Why they should apply it?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's so many reasons why. I think the biggest driver is just the world that we live in now, and having a global society and having the internet and everything being connected. And that just means that everything is going to be accelerating so much faster every year. So to keep up with the skills that are needed for new jobs, you constantly have to be innovating and, keeping up with what you're offering and what's out there and what needs are in the market. So even if you have a stable job, keep your eyes on the market. What skills are out there that you need and you should be working on today?
Amazing audience, you're hearing it live here from Haley Campbell-Gross. Again, she is the co-host of HumanCurrent, right? The Complexity Podcast. Haley, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Haley, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I used to live on the beach, and I think that anytime you live near water, the memories become much clearer. But I've bounced around a lot. My dad was in radio, go figure. Now I'm a podcaster. So we moved all the time. And we ended up on South Padre Island, which is the southern tip of Texas. And I remember my parents playing volleyball and running around on the beach. And I had a boogie board, and it was like new, we didn't live on the beach before it. And I thought I never wanted to live anywhere else.
How old do you think you were in this memory?
I think I was 5.
All right.
Around 5. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think this memory is so clear, and how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
I think it's so clear because it was more of a feeling than a memory. Just a feeling of joy and freedom. And I think that joy and freedom are definitely things that I aspire toward in my life now. So that's probably why they stick out to me. And I still love the water to this day. And it may be because you've talked about water before I thought about it. It triggered that memory as well. But those are the days that I look back on fondly.
But can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Yeah.
I love the idea of the complexity of everything that's occurring at the same time. And I also love the fact that there is the human current in motion, just like the sea that you love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your parents are playing volleyball, so there's the back and forth, and then you are there, and then the boogie board is there. It's amazing how many things are playing off in the current of time, if you would. Just to play on what's happening now to the thing you're connected with, which is the podcast, the human current. Fascinating, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
If we
It's
fast forward
interesting.
it to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, when I was 12, I was really into U2. U2 was my first concert I ever went to. So let's see, maybe a song, A Beautiful Day was a song by them around that
Isn't it fascinating how that connects? I mean, you two, a beautiful day.
time.
Wow. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Haley?
Yes.
Haley, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I don't know if I have yet.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have children?
I do. I have a son.
Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Ooh, probably more than 8 with my job.
Haley, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Haley Campbell-Gross, what would you say that is?
Be true to yourself.
Love it. Haley, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, just a shameless plug for them to please tune in to the HumanCurrent Podcast.
There we go. Haley Campbell-Gross, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.